Hello there, good afternoon. This is NTA Nationwide, and I'm Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. British Prime Minister Theresa May was in Nigeria as part of a three-nation tour for the continent. Mrs. May, who arrived at the State House at about 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, was received by President Muhammadu Buhari. After an exchange of pleasantries, the two leaders retreated for talks behind closed doors aimed at deepening relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
We already have very good cooperation between the UK and Nigeria across a range of issues: defence, security, trade, relations. We work well together, we cooperate together on global, regional, Commonwealth issues across a range of issues. I look to strengthen that cooperation and that partnership. And I have brought a wide-ranging business delegation with me to Nigeria as we look to enhance our close commercial ties further in the future. And when we leave the European Union, there will be more opportunities for us to increase those commercial links and trading opportunities. And we, of course, will also be looking to work together to step up our work on shared security threats, be it threats from Boko Haram or human trafficking, a subject on which you and I have spoken previously. And of course also cooperate on tackling corruption and lifting people out of poverty.
I'd like to emphasize again to strengthen the relationship between our two countries. Problem of trafficking and climate change, the effect on climate change on Lake Chad. I came across a document in 1978, I think, where a British professor in 1925 foresaw the climate change and the drying up of Lake Chad. And Lake Chad was 10% of its size last year. And we are pleased that Europe and China are conducting an in-depth study to see how it can be recharged by inter-basin transfer from Central African Republic to Chad. So the people for fishing, animal husbandry, all seasons farming, millions of people, and Nigeria stand to benefit most than most other countries.
State House correspondent Adamu Samba reports that several agreements on defense and security as well as economic development forum were signed between the two countries.
This clearly highlights the two priority areas in our relationship at the moment. You know, under the Defense and Security Pact, it's a comprehensive agreement that covers all aspects of the security challenges. So apart from, you know, the military training, but also, you know, the support, the policing, civil policing, and, you know, the human rights aspect of security, and the sort of the close cooperation that our two countries will have, the training that will be provided also by the UK to our security forces. And on the Economic Development Forum, this is a forum that really aims at co-prosperity, the prosperity of our two countries. countries. It's looking to leverage, on areas where we have, as countries, competitive advantages, the financial center that London is, and the investment opportunities in our country, and really to build that up.
The purpose of the Commission is to be able to discuss issues that has to do with the growth of our two economies. We will have trade negotiations where it becomes necessary. We'll also have cooperation in several aspects that will be beneficial for both of our countries. There will be bilateral meetings, biannual meetings, to be hosted interchangeably in UK and in Nigeria.
Prime Minister Theresa May, who was in Nigeria for the first time since coming to power in 2016, has left the State House for other engagements before proceeding to Kenya. Now, issues relating to the forthcoming primary elections for the 2019 polls dominated discussions as stakeholders of the governing All Progressives Congress held a crucial caucus meeting in Abuja Tuesday evening. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
It was the first meeting of the APC caucus since the election of the new national executive members of the governing party led by Adams Oshomole over 2 months ago. Amongst those in attendance were President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Chief Bisi Okonde, governors, National Assembly members, and other stakeholders. Topical issues bordering on the interests of the party and Nigeria were thoroughly analyzed at the meeting, which lasted over 2.5 hours behind closed doors. Prominent amongst them includes the forthcoming primaries of the party scheduled for September.
We basically discussed how to ensure full compliance with the INEC guideline, and also ensure that we observe all the principles of internal democracy, participation, inclusion, fairness, and justice. I think everybody has confidence that we will do a very credible primaries to ensure that those who fly the flag of the party have the mandate of the various constituents.
Once you have party members that are able to take decisions on who should represent them, I think, we would have gone a step better than other parties. The whole essence is for us to deepen democracy.
At the meeting, also holding for the first time since the gale of defections to and from the party, the need for unity of purpose amongst members of the APC caucus in both chambers of the National Assembly were emphasized, so also harmonious relationships between the lawmakers, governors, and other stakeholders.
After the defections from the APC, those of us who remain, and that's the majority in the Senate, are brothers and sisters, united and focused, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that the National Assembly reconvenes in good time to look into the serious issues that we have before us. Our government must make progress. Nigerians are waiting. Nigerians have been patient, but we cannot take the patience of Nigerians for granted.
Some of the newcomers into the party give their impressions so far.
I'm quite impressed. The president has kept his integrity intact. He has been able to improve the image of Nigeria. He has restored a lot of respect to Nigeria from the international community. And I can tell you that he alone can attract millions of people. It's quite infectious.
So that in moving forward, we can have solutions to the crisis of the Niger Delta.
Decisions taken at the meeting will be forwarded to the party's next meeting on Thursday for consideration. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And Cross River State Chairman of All Progressives Congress, Matthew Achegbe, says all is set for the party to take over governance in Cross River State. He stated this in Abuja after his formal inauguration by APC National Working Committee, presided by APC National Chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole. Saliu Abdullahi reports.
As an officer of the party.
With these, the tussle over who controls the structure of the Cross River chapter of the APC has been laid to rest.
Let us work together. As far as I'm concerned.
The new chairman, Matthew Achegbe, promised to galvanize more support for the party and sustain efforts within the state and beyond to entrench good governance under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
I would set the machinery in motion for us to move to our various local government areas, encourage them to sell our party to the people so that we will not have any challenge when the time comes, come 2019 polls.
Matthew Achigbe emerged as the new chairman of the Cross River State chapter of the APC at a rescheduled Congress held on Tuesday, July 22, 2018 in Calabar. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Reorientation of Nigerians do things the right way and at the right time is a major step that must be taken to address the numerous challenges militating against nation building and development, especially as it affects electioneering and selection of leaders. Guests on NTA Tuesday Live program gave these recommendations during a critical analysis of issues of continuous voter registration. Momso Damian Dati reports.
The people are so crowded and they are giving number. You must go early as 4:30.
Leave there maybe after spending like 8 hours, some 5 hours.
So they asked me to come back again. Once it's ready, they'll let everybody to know about it.
These are a few out of the many challenges faced by prospective voters in an attempt to beat the 31st August deadline for INEC voter cards against the 2019 general elections. But why the last-minute rush? Well, these are the issues guests on NTA's Tuesday Live program seek to look at.
Nigerian factor. We always live until the last minute and then we get to rush. However, this has to do with voter education. And I must say part of the amendment we proposed is completely taking that away from INEC.
Actually, elections are getting better. The processes are getting easier. They are seeing that their votes are beginning to count, and because of this, that interest is being is aroused.
Issues on voter education, multiple registration, and multiple possession of voter cards, as well as upcoming political parties numbering 91 and above, were brought bare.
Being the former register being 67 million, if you add 13 million, that will take us to a little over 80 million.
It's reorientation. For people to reorient themselves for even their own individual personal life. Every person that is interested in this country must not regard politics as dirty. If it is dirty, we must clean it. Otherwise, economy will continue to be bad, religion will continue to be bad, ethnicity will continue to be bad.
Although the extension period has given 13 million Nigerians an opportunity to get registered, the exercise must, however, be suspended this Friday for critical factors.
I am aware that around 4 million have been printed, they are distributing right now. There will be another 20 million that will be added. That is why INEC is saying we need to stop this process for now, so we can concentrate on giving people distribution, because it's not enough to register. If you register, you collect your vote, and that is what we now use to vote.
Mamso Damian Ati, NTA News.
Giving honor to whom honor is due was the message as Buhari Friends organization converged on Abuja to celebrate the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, for her unflinching support for humanity through her pet projects and purposeful drive, as well as her recent award of doctorate degree in public administration by Sun Moon University, Republic of Korea. Ifeanyi Zumba has more.
The wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, aside from her humanitarian nature, has always mortgaged her comfort and privilege. Most times, she cautions dastardly acts of certain people in and out of government. The Buhari Friends Organization Network felt it expedient to celebrate her for another feat she just recorded in the Republic of Korea based on her achievements and service to the nation and humanity.
Was given a PhD in recognition to her achievement in complimenting Mr. President, the husband. So it behoves us as the true friends of the family to call ourselves together like this and celebrate her once again. And as she continues to excel, so shall we continue to motivate her to do more. Our duty is to compliment our effort, to encourage her to do more, especially for the poor people that she really defends.
Her job spoke for itself. It was a meritorious award, well selected, by all the governing councils of the university. She was evaluated with all other first lady from all over the world, and they find her,
We are praying, we are also advocating for a higher award for her.
The Buhari Friends Organization Network used the occasion to call on the wife of the president to redouble her efforts in saying that her pet project, The Future Assured, is spread into grassroots across the country. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Izumba, NTA News.
Western Naval Command hands over seized illegal vessels. Details of these and other stories with Hingino in our Lagos studios. Hingino?
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. 26 illegal vessels plying the Nigerian waterways without permission, seized by the Western Naval Command, have been handed over to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for prosecution. This was disclosed by the Rear Admiral Audit Ngalabak in Lagos. Lynn Leneke has details.
It was a convergence of principal staff officers of the Western Naval Command to witness the signing and handing over of the command's ensign. Thereafter, the senior officers moved out for the farewell parade in honor of the outgoing flag officer commanding, Rear Admiral Silvanus Abba. Under his watch, the command analyzed the prevailing security challenges in the country and developed a robust response in carrying out its policing duties, as well as sustained internal joint security operations with sister services.
The greatest problem we have is power of prosecution. I'm a naval officer. I know what is obtainable at the high sea. Let them give us that power to prosecute. It will even save time.
I'm going to follow in a footstep to fulfill the mission and the vision of the Chief of Naval Staff, and also going to, ultimately do the bidding of the Commander-in-Chief. So I'm going to continue from where he stopped. There won't be any break in performance.
The new flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Audit Ngalabak, until this appointment, was the Admiral Superintendent, Naval Doctrine and Assessment Center, Bonny Camp, Lagos. The Western Naval Command, which is the premier command of the Nigerian Navy, has a coastline of about 154 nautical miles and sea area of 30,800 square nautical miles. This, according to the command, makes it strategic in tackling all forms of criminalities on the nation's waterways. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
60 unemployed graduates have commenced a 12-day training in Lagos on aquaculture and fish processing. Jennifer Igwe reports that the program is part of the Green Initiative of the Buhari administration on agricultural development and youth empowerment with objective of entrepreneurship.
The 60 young men and women aged between 22 and 45 gathered at the fish farm of the Nigerian Institute of Oceanography and Marine Research in Badore, Lagos. They are all from the northern part of the country and have been selected based on their interest in becoming fish farmers and entrepreneurs. The training is not restricted to classroom theories and notes. It is hands-on, and participants are expected to grasp the rudiment of fish farming and its viability. And these young people are taking notes and learning because they have aspirations. I'll be talking to Margaret Phillips, 29-year-old from Adamawa State. Now, what do you plan to do after this school?
I have been unemployed right from 2015. And with the knowledge I will acquire from this program, I intend to start something of my own.
The trainees have their own goals, but targets have been set for each one of them by their trainers.
But we are giving them 1,000 catfish juveniles. And in 4 to 6 months, it's expected they have attained at least half a kilo. So we are expecting 500 kilograms.
To ensure the targets are met, starter packs comprising of fish tanks, catfish juveniles, vital fish feeds, basins, scales, hand nets, bowls, sieves, log books for record keeping, and salt for biosecurity would be handed over to each of the participants at the end of the training. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos at this hour. Time to link up with Rukaya Umar Farouk in our Kaduna Network Center.
Thank you, Hingino.
Welcome to Kaduna Network Center. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has renewed the commitment of the Nigerian Air Force towards securing the nation from both internal and external aggressions while observing rules of engagement and discharging their constitutional role. The Chief of Air Staff stated this at the graduation ceremony of the Basic Flying Course 18 at the 403 Flying School, Kano. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
This is simulation of aerial display by the 7 graduating students showcasing their professionalism after a successful completion of basic flying course. The 7 students and a graduate of the United States Air Force were trained as operational pilots to complement the effort of the existing ones that are protecting the territorial integrity of the country. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, was on ground to witness his vision of repositioning the force through capacity-building initiatives of air power in response to Nigeria's national security imperatives.
The graduation of these 7 pilots will certainly add value to what we are already doing. They are qualified as fighter pilots here. They will do some further training, to type-rate on the other aircraft types that we have. But we have saved close to $6 million for Nigeria. If these guys were trained outside, it would have cost not less than about $750,000 to $760,000 per pilot.
The graduating students were presented with merit certificate and winging as qualified pilots.
Today marks the end of a new beginning for all of us, and we pray the Almighty as we move ahead, as we are getting deployed, that He will continue to strengthen us. 403 Flying Training School, Kano, has so far graduated 175 pilots since its inception. From Kano, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says the force will intensify training and synergy with relevant stakeholders in operations and safety, improved performance and security maintenance across the country. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun reports that the Chief of Air Staff stated this during a seminar on safety in aircraft maintenance held at the headquarters air training in Kaduna.
The seminar is a deliberate plan by the Nigerian Air Force to update the airmen and women about new techniques to guarantee safe air operations and safety at work environment. Seasoned aircraft engineer Tunji Agoro presented a paper on exploring the impact of safety in aircraft maintenance environment to the participants.
To maintain safety, you definitely need to spend a lot of money. But I tell you the truth this morning, you will spend more on the consequence of not maintaining a safe environment.
Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, represented by Air Vice Marshal Charles Owo, called on stakeholders to be more proactive in discharging their duties for effective and mishap-free air operations.
According to Boeing, human errors account for about 70 to 80% of aviation accidents. This underscores the need for effective consultation among stakeholders supported by comprehensive data analysis with the attendant demands for continuous review.
Ensuring airworthiness in aircraft maintenance is a complex discipline that changes and requires constant updates to keep abreast with changes and advanced technology.
With a theme promoting safety culture in aircraft maintenance, the seminar is expected to hold in all air training commands across the country. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun, NTA News.
Away from security matters, now power. Owing the sustained infrastructural development of Nigeria's power supply mix, its national power supply capacity has improved significantly. This has led to increase in the supply of electricity to the end consumer across the country. The electricity distribution pattern is, however, becoming a source of concern to many, especially small-scale entrepreneurs whose costs keep rising. Abdullahi Muhammad has more.
Doubt that Nigeria has in the last 3 years sped up investment towards the development of infrastructures across its power supply mix. This has kept the country on track with respect to realizing an installed capacity of 12,522 megawatt. In the past couple of months, electricity consumers across Nigeria have been enjoying improved power supply. Artisans like Ahmad and Usman, who before now rely solely on power generating sets to run their welding machines, say they are smiling to the bank as their cost of production reduces.
If I come and see the light, if I close, I will see the light. That is, if I tell you 24 hours, not true they tell you now.
Ahmad and Usman are lucky to be among millions of other customers who are in the good books of the power distribution company in Kaduna. The company has categorized its customers into 3 groups, supplying them based on their capacity to pay.
This is a commodity that we buy. We don't get it for free. Every day we get a bill of up to 3.5 billion naira worth of energy that we receive, which we have to sell and collect money.
This approach has left many customers in darkness, even when they never fail in their commitment to offset their bills. A garment factory, which employs more than 200 Nigerians, is among millions of other households and businesses that are caught in the middle.
To operate generally on generator, and that brings the high cost of production.
Just because this factory falls in the category of neighborhood where low collection is recorded, it is denied constant supply of power, which could have made a difference in its earnings.
It's a very sad thing for people who are willing to pay, but unfortunately they find themselves in areas or locations where majority of the people are not paying.
But for Ahmed and Usman, luck has given them a special place in the heart of the power distribution company.
In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. There will be more stories after this timeout as I hand you back to Joseph Johnson in Abuja.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
For years, the NTA has been promoting science, technology, arts and crafts under the tagged name National Children's Expo. We are set with another edition as we gather children around Nigeria, junior category ages 6 to 12 and senior category ages 13 to 18. The theme for Expo 2018, achieving self-sufficiency in agriculture, meeting the challenges of security and exposition of alternative energy as pathways to national development. Date, October 21st to 25th, 2018. Venue, NTA Headquarters Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. We are set to celebrate the best of innovation across the country. For more information, please call the following numbers. NTA ETV, promoting learning.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Zuma Film Festival 2018 Abuja. Theme, Archiving for Creativity. Date, December 1st to 7th, 2018. Featuring film screenings, masterclasses, special tributes, NFC Annual Film Lecture, NFC Annual Essay Competition Awards, special national and state days, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and Zuma Film Festival 2018 Awards. Submission of entries for non-competition, competition and screening is ongoing and closes September 30th, 2018. All entries should be forwarded to the Festival Director, Zuma Film Festival Nigerian Film Corporation headquarters in Jos, and/or its zonal offices in Abia, Lagos, Kano, Asaba, Yola, and Abuja, or through the Film Freeway online platform www.filmfreeway.com. For further inquiries, call 0033146842, 08052728321, or 08063390420, or visit the website www.zumafilmfest.gov.ng. Zuma Film Festival 2018, December 1st to 7th, Abuja, Nigerian's foremost film festival.
Welcome back to Abuja. It's still nationwide. The Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution is deploying a technical committee to Zamfara State to ascertain the causes and dynamics of recent conflict in that region. The chairman of the governing council of the Institute, Senator Muhammad Abba Aji, stated these while briefing media in Abuja. He said the committee would interact with stakeholders at all levels and share findings on with federal and state governments, security agencies and development partners for proactive intervention that would restore lasting peace in the area.
I believe that these conflicts are surmountable. We are therefore using this opportunity to appeal to all Nigerians to remain law-abiding and supportive of the government and security agencies. Let me assure all Nigerians of the commitment of members of the Governing Council management and staff of our assiduous resolution to work towards making every part of this country peaceful for everyone.
Our finding will therefore try to reach all the agencies associated with security and border control to enable our citizens enjoy the full benefit of the agenda of the present government.
Efforts are currently being intensified towards tackling irregular migration in Nigeria. The latest is a move to channel an awareness campaign on its dangers to the educational system. Now, this is what Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, is seeking to achieve in collaboration with other development partners. Joy Iloegbu reports.
With the situation of irregular migration becoming more troubling in recent times, with news of occurrences of various forms of abuses and vulnerability, the workshop seeks to sensitize Nigerian youths on the dangers of migrating illegally. Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Hajj Sadia Umar Farouk, says although migration is inevitable in view of interdependency, a major challenge associated with migration is the means through which it is achieved.
Like most other countries, Nigeria's response to migration has been a significant shift from a problem to be solved to a reality with challenges to be managed.
Addressing the participants, Coordinator, Civil Society Network on Migration and Development, Reverend Father Emeka Chris Obiezu, pointed out that dealing with the realities of irregular migration requires collaboration between government and the people to unveil the root causes and dangers of irregular migration.
In line with the vision of Nnamdi Azikiwe himself, we decided to do a kind of handshake with this agency, the National Agency for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, to seek their fellowship in order to establish this center here.
The center is charged with the responsibility of coordinating the postgraduate programs of the University on Migration Studies.
Further discussions also revolved around risk and vulnerability of migrants traveling illegally, with some returnees sharing their stories. In Awka, Joy Iloegbu, NTA News.
Let's go to Jos now, where training and capacity building has been described as key for career development in a television broadcast organization. This was the consensus of speakers at the 2018 National Audit Conference of NTA Heads of Audit. holding at NTA Television College, Jos. Mariam Adura completes the report.
The conference, which has as its theme enhancing revenue generation, probity and accountability in the Nigerian Television Authority, drew participants from NTA stations nationwide. Executive and support the anti-corruption fight initiated by the Buhari administration.
If you do your job well, conscientiously, objectively, purposefully, you stand in place to make the greatest contribution to the well-being of the Nigerian Television Authority.
Director Internal Audit Yusuf Ademutafa Obalewa thanked the Director General for making internal auditors answerable to him, thereby boosting their confidence, and for ensuring the availability of logistics needed for the job.
The profession is an evolving one. As such, this year we designed relevant topics to be treated at this conference to update and educate the participants.
Rector of the Television College, Dr. Barnabas Bam, enjoined participants to make the most of the opportunity as the training is pivotal to their development. Highlight of the event was the unveiling of a book titled Introduction to Barter Accounting in Nigeria, written by Udo Ubo, who works for 35 years as an auditor in NTA. In Jos, Mariam Adura, NTA News.
Governor Okorocha swears in new council chairman in Imo State. Comfort in Enugu has details of these and other stories trending in that zone.
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Enugu. The Police Service Commission has commended the Enugu State Command of the Nigerian Police Force for keeping with the mandate of the force in ensuring security of lives and property of the citizens. The Commission gave the commendation when members of the Police Service Board visited the State Police Command headquarters. Jude Abugu completes the story.
Coming at a time when police esteem is at its lowest ebb and coupled with the rising insecurity across the country, the new board set out to reposition the police force for effective crime fighting. It is in this direction that members of the board visited the State Police Command to assess security situation in the state. Led by Mr. Austin Bremo, the commission rated the state high in areas of crime prevention.
Had our feelers around that relationship, interagency relationship in this zone has been important. So we are here to thank him and ask him to do more.
The State Commissioner of Police, CP Damala Mohammed, said the visit will boost the morale of officers and men of the command. He highlighted of the command's achievements in recent times to include arrest of over 1,800 criminals, conviction of about 386 criminals, and recovery of about 3 million naira. In spite of these successes, the CP said the command still lacks manpower and is facing logistic challenges and poor welfare. Members of the commission's board, however, promised to look into some of the issues raised by the CP.
Ability of soldiers to police our country. They should be defending the territorial integrity of our country.
We to visit the police college at Abuja. I'm told that the place is in a very bad state. If the environment is not good, you will not have a good police force.
As a mark of honor, CP Damala Mohammed made presentation to the commission. In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha has sworn in the newly elected local government area chairmen and councillors with a mandate for them to deliver the dividends of democracy to the electorate at grassroots. Sele Osayande has more.
The event, which took place at the Sam Mbakwe Esco Chambers, Imo State Government House, attracted a full house as the elected chairmen and councillors took their oath of office. Governor Rochas Okorocha, while congratulating them on their victory, said they must ensure government's effort in bringing governance closer to the people is achieved through people-oriented projects as executed by the Rescue Mission Administration in the various local government areas.
To ensure that all secondary schools in your area in our joint project partnership
between local government and state to ensure that all the schools are remodeled and the science laboratories all well fixed.
For the governor, until the local government chairmen and councillors live among the people, there is no way they can impact the local populace, as they might not be able to identify needs as it concerns infrastructure. The local government election was held with a state electoral body declaring the process as credible, free and fair. Before the conduct of the election, transition chairmen were overseeing the affairs of the local government councils. In Owerri, Selo signed the NTA News.
Some electorates in the state have expressed satisfaction with the turnout of eligible voters who they say defied the rain to register before the expiration of the 2 weeks extension given by INEC. Ifomando Kole reports.
That was the mood of eligible voters at some of the registration centers visited in Enugu metropolis as the way to take advantage of the 2-week extension by INEC, which will expire on Friday. While some of the eligible voters complained of the slow process of the exercise and attitude of some of the INEC officials, some commended the officials for their zeal in ensuring a hitch-free exercise.
Came here and some people that came around 10 just got themselves inside and left before I could even come to the gate to ask for when my turn.
The Enugu State Resident Electoral Commissioner, who was seen trying to restore calm at the registration centers, said their target is to register over 500,000 eligible voters in Enugu State. He restated the Commission's commitment towards ensuring a credible election come 2019 and urged those who have registered to collect their PVC.
By Friday, any citizen that presents himself for registration will be captured. We are adequately prepared for it.
These respondents are, however, expressing fear that the 2-week extension period will not be enough, taking into cognizance what is obtainable in the registration centers visited in Enugu. Ifoma Ndu Okole, NTA News.
Our contribution from Enugu. Let's now join Sokoto, where Asmau is standing by with stories making rounds in that zone. Over to you, Asmau.
Thank you, Comfort. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. The National Emergency Management Agency has assured victims of flood in Makwana village of Sabambrini local government in Sokoto State of federal government's immediate support to alleviate their suffering. Head of operations of the agency in Sokoto, Suleiman Muhammad, disclosed this when they visited the affected area to ascertain damage caused by the flood. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the story.
This is the most devastating flood that Makwana village experienced from the overflow of River Bunsuru in Sabambrini local government area of Sokoto State. The flood destroyed over 150 houses, including schools, worship places, wash away animals, and caused a lot of damage to farmlands and food storage facilities. The victims are now taking shelter with neighbors and relatives, while others have relocated to nearby village. Members of the community had earlier done some embankment to reduce the effect of the water on their houses, while some were at their farm removing their farm produce, even though they are not ripe. Some of the victims said the flood had seriously affected their means of livelihood and commended NEMA for the visit. Head of Operations, National Emergency Management Agency, Sokoto Operation Office, Suleiman Muhammad, said the flash flood in Makwana village is a surprise, as it is not among places predicted to experience flooding. He said NEMA will conduct a full assessment of damage done to enable government assist the victims.
National Emergency Agency, we are going to do something very soon to alleviate the suffering of the communities here.
Village head of Makwana, Saluhu Ibrahim, while appreciating NEMA for the visit, said although there was no loss of life, the flood had destroyed properties worth millions of naira. He appealed to government to relocate them to a safer place to avoid future occurrence. The head of operations, NEMA, and his team visited Bunsuru, the source of the flood. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
Over 770 pilgrims from Sokoto State have been airlifted home after the completion of the 2018 Hajj exercise. Muhammad Nasir reports that they were brought in 3 flights. The report.
First batch of the pilgrims, numbering 259 from Gada local government, arrived at Sultan Abubakar III International Airport on Monday, 27th of this month at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The second batch of 257 pilgrims returned home on Tuesday, 28th of this month. They are from Gada, Wurno, and Rabah local governments. The third batch was brought in at 8:52 this morning. The 255 pilgrims are from Tambuwal, Shagari, Ilela local governments, and some state government officials. Some of the pilgrims expressed gratitude to Almighty Allah for successful completion of one of their religious obligations.
To pray for our country, we hope the Almighty Allah will accept our prayers.
On arrival at the airport, the main Hajj reception committee, led by a former commissioner, Mani Meshenko Katami, was at hand to accord the fitting reception to the pilgrims. Other subcommittees were also there, carrying out their responsibilities. They include Health Committee, Airlift, Luggage, Security and Transport Committees, among others. NTA Sokoto News camera captured pilgrims undergoing the prescribed procedures of returning to the country after performing Hajj. All the pilgrims are in good health. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
Nationwide on the network service will continue after these messages. Please stay tuned.
In Nigeria is growing at a horrendous rate.
There are so many women that have pushed out of their marriage because of this breast cancer.
If we don't get the assistance that we require, less help will be rendered and more patients will die. It is not a disease that's going to go away in Nigeria, so it needs to be addressed.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the global development agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
Yeah, Modena. Mode. Do you have amala? Yes. And amala? Yes, sir. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Yes, sir. Give me amala and amala. Do you have dodo? Dodo 2 grams. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want you to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, suku, abodi. I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stockfish. And the catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. You have eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, the catfish will do. And then rice. Rice and then some salmon. Look. Never mind. Do you have a guru?
For staying with the NTA. The Embassy of Israel is to conduct their maiden edition of the National Old Testament's Bible Quiz in Nigeria. Bukola Da Silva reports that the Israeli Deputy Head of Mission in Nigeria, Nadav Koren, at a media briefing said the quiz competition is part of yearly activities to commemorate the anniversary of the State of Israel.
According to Mr. Koren, the quiz was instituted by the first Israeli Prime Minister,
David Ben-Gurion in 1958 and has spread to many countries since then. The competition is organized in conjunction with the Israel Ministry of Education Christians United for Israel.
The Old Testament Bible contest will commence in all states of the Federation of Nigeria in September 2018. This competition is open to all candidates above the age of 18.
Executive Secretary, Christians United for Israel, Reverend Samson Ozovehe, says all hands will be on deck to actualize the project, as it is a veritable tool to build cultural bridges between Nigerians and Israelis.
It's an opportunity to demonstrate our passion and to stand for what we believe in. This historic Bible competition will ensure to do all that is possible, bringing on board all the relevant stakeholders to achieve the desired objective.
The theme of this competition is living peacefully in the promised land. In Abuja, Bukola Da Silva, NTA News.
Let's talk sports now. Seychelles Football Federation shifts 2019 African qualifiers against Nigeria as tennis players complain of heat at the US Open. Amazi Marcus has more on Sports Update.
The Seychelles Football Federation says the 2019 AFCON qualifier between the Pirates of Seychelles and Nigeria Super Eagles will hold on Saturday, 8 September 2018 and not Friday, 7 September, as the Confederation of African Football had given them the option of playing either on Friday or Saturday. The match holds at Mahé Island, 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time, and the Super Eagles coach Gennett Rowe has revealed the team will get at least 3 training sessions on synthetic pitch because the September 8 match will be played on AstroTurf. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Volleyball Federation is planning towards organizing the 2018-2019 league season nationwide. A league management committee is working towards actualizing their plans.
We have given them go-ahead to issue out letters with immediate effect for all the clubs that will be coming for the Premier League.
57 lady golfers from 19 African countries, including Nigeria, on Wednesday began the quest for honors at the 14th All-Africa Golf Challenge Trophy in Accra, Ghana. Correspondent Kayode Adeniyi reports that Nigeria is represented by Amina Wilfred, Evelyn Oyeme, and Rita Izoje in the 3-day event. The Africa Division II International Cricket Council Under-19 World Cup qualifier has ended in Potchefstroom, South Africa, with Nigeria emerging champions with a 197 runs victory over Sierra Leone in the final decided on Tuesday. Nigeria went through the tournament unbeaten, having earned victories against Ghana, Mozambique, Lesotho, Tanzania, and finally Sierra Leone. The last Grand Slam of the season enters day 4 on Thursday in New York, as 5 men had to retire from their first round matches on Tuesday due to heat-related issues. The adverse weather conditions led to organizers implementing an extreme heat policy in men's matches for the first time. With Sports Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Let's just bring you up to date on imminent flooding, because the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency has indicated that both Kainji and Jeba dams are spilling water downstream. In a statement signed by Clement Nze, the agency warns those living by the banks of River Niger of imminent flooding due to increased level of water in Lokoja today, 29th August 2018, compared to the corresponding value on 29th of August 2012. States affected include Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Kogi, Anambra, Delta, and Bayelsa State. Now a quick look at the weather picture across the country. And that's it all on NTA Nationwide. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Enjoy the rest of our programs.